Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hope you're great. Hope you're having a good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. So, yes, day 17 of the 90. Wow. Hope your run is going very, very well. Yeah, it's been interesting so far. It's definitely been an interesting run. Please, as soon as you tune into this, please, I would love to know where you're tuning in from. Just drop in your name and the country you're tuning in from, city, country, whatever. Having a good one. I think it's a very, very, very important. Not I think it definitely is a very important topic today, and it will be more of a continuation and just adding some more flesh to that of this day 16. I hope you've gotten caught up with Chris's training from yesterday. Yes, so we're talking about handling objections. It's a very, very, very key skill to know or to be able to do in this business, because every single time people are going to throw their objections at you. As you're exposing people, they'll be throwing objections at you. And yes, so please just type in where you're tuning in from. Let me see if I can follow here. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, so I can be able to see your comments. Okay, great. So now there's something, before we dive into that, right? How I would like to know what the experience has been from your 90-day run. Same. How many customers do you have? How many new associates have you recruited? You could just type in the numbers and just explain how has it been. Has it been exciting? Has it been exhilarating? Has it been a bit scary? Has it been what's the word? Just describe it basically in any word. Thank you so much. I see you. Olubukola, yes, tuning in. I see you, Doreen from Alaska. Luz, my friend Luz from Dominican Republic. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. So yes, how has your run been so far? How has this first 16, 17 days been? Let me know that in the comments. And yeah, congratulations to, first of all, being part of this run, right? We've said it before, there's no guilt, no shame. However it is that you're running right now, whatever movement you're making in this business, in this run, is very, very fine. Some of us are flying, yes, some of us are running, some of us are walking, some of us are crawling. It is fine. Whichever one you choose to do is very, very fine. But at least you're taking steps, you're following instructions, you're doing the new things that are going to really help you to soar. Oh, my boss swap master, thank you so much for joining in. So yes, now Eric, I don't know if we've said this on any of the lives before, but Eric is also, is not just like he's teaching us this 90-day run and doing it with us, which he is. Every single day the man shows up, right? But he's also on the 90-day run himself for fitness, right? And we've seen pictures, we've seen clips of what he has to go through. He has to go through some really rigorous workouts, like serious stuff, right? And things that can leave you so tired, will make you want to quit. But he's still showing up. He's still showing up when his trainers are riding him hard. He's still doing the workouts, putting hours of workouts each day, and then he still shows up to train us. He still shows up to give us the good stuff. It's really amazing. And you know what his motivation is? Yes, he wants to make sure he's consistent with this. And yeah, he's being accountable to not just himself, but all of us, right, who are in this together. And that's what we have to do. The attitude of, yeah, we have to make it through this time. Because what we want to do, or what you should want to do, is make sure that at the end of this 90 days, you actually show up. Like you show up on day 90, knowing that yes, you put in the work. Right? Because if you falter, if you go into hiding, if you end up not completing this, then you actually feel like a phony. Right? How many of us, I'm sure we can relate to this, how many of us feel bad if we start something and then we don't finish it, or we commit to something and just fall by the wayside. Do we feel okay with that, or do we feel bad? Right? Let me know in the comments. Right? So you don't want to have started this with all the enthusiasm going into this year and telling people, yes, you're part of this 90-day run, and then you don't keep going. It's not always going to feel great. It's not always going to feel great. You times it feels like literally pushing against an ocean current, but you have to push, because no matter what stage you are right now, no matter what is going on, whether you've had customers, whether you've had new associates, whether you've not had any, right? As long as you've been doing these activities, it means your business has changed forever. That is just the truth. Like, your business has changed. You're not operating at the level you were in December, like all of 2021. It's a new thing. You're introducing new things and you're moving forward. And those activities, it may not be immediate, but those activities will definitely push you towards goal. So yeah, being aware that there's a particular point you were before this 90-day run and where you are now and where you're still going to go is very, very key to knowing this. So great. Okay, Lou says it's been okay, but a lot of room for improvement. Yes, I understand that perfectly. I think if we are being very honest, each and every one of us has some area to improve in, right? Master says been busy 17 days, but worth it. I can see the growth and improvement in a lot of business activities. Exactly, I agree with you 1,000%. Wow. Yeah, so the business activity part, yeah, for me personally, definitely better. And I don't have any new associates yet. Personally, I haven't recruited, but I've had new customers. I've not had new recruits, but I am in the action and I am getting people for exposures going all about this, and it's definitely going to give you results. It started giving you results and it's still going to yield more, so you have to keep pushing, right? So yes, now, so coming back to the objections, right? It is very important that we decide and commit to being professional about handling objections. Because let's face it, especially if you've been in this business for long, it's like, oh, you've heard everything in the book. Oh, this one says, oh, I don't have money, I don't have time, oh, I don't know how to talk to people, I don't know how to convince people, oh, this thing, people will not answer me, what if I don't get people? Even just as recently as yesterday, one of the people I was talking to said, oh, what if I don't get anybody, and all this kind of stuff. It's just different kinds of things. Network marketing bias that people have, all sorts. Oh, my spouse will not agree. We have so many objections. We've heard so many objections, and all these objections really fall into two categories, right? So there's objection about network marketing as the business itself, and then there is objections that stem from, okay, so limiting beliefs about network marketing and limiting beliefs about themselves. So the prospect themselves, oh, I don't know how to talk to people, I'm not good at convincing people, all those kind of stuff, right? I'm not business minded. All of those are personal, like, limiting beliefs, right? So it's important that we know how to do it instead of getting stuck, being at the level of stage one, right? Where, or any objection you're giving, you just take it, you fold, you say, you agree with the prospect, oh, you don't have money, okay, you don't have money, I understand. Yeah, okay, then to the next person, and then next person gives their own issue, and next person gives their own issue. Yeah, that's stage one, right? Stage two is when you now become pretty argumentative and aggressive to the prospect. Sometimes, let's face it, prospects can be annoying, we get it. There's some things that, oh, maybe they say, and it's, some seems valid, some it could just be like kind of ridiculous, or it's a pyramid scheme, or all those kind of things. And we know better because we're educated and we are in the system, and we see that is not it, right? It's just people's misconceptions. But then, yeah, people who are still not educated, people who are still really ignorant, who have not really been exposed properly, have their own ideas. So yes, it's their own belief. And trying to combat them, trying to now go defensive. Just think about it. When two people are arguing, like if one person doesn't kind of calm down, have a calm head and approach to dealing with it, if both are yelling, nobody wants to lose the argument. One now wants to shout over the other person. It never ends well. right? And it's not going to end well if that is how you go about your objection, with your objection. So yeah, it's very, very important that we learn the right way. That is the professional way as stage 3. And stage 3 really is all about really getting them educated. Yes, you get their point of view and all, but where there are issues, the places that they need some education with, or areas they need to polish, or areas they kind of have to think more deeply about. Yeah, you're just basically showing them the road, right? So it's getting them to the point where, okay, they're comfortable to want to actually proceed with the business, or at least getting them to the next exposure. So that is the goal, to get them educated. Get them educated. Now, so we're going through go through the 4 steps, right? The first is, once they've been exposed, they've seen your tool, they've been part of the Zoom meeting or whatever, yes. So now you want to know, okay, if you ask, are you ready to get started and all of that, and they say, okay, no, they throw their objections, they don't have time, they don't have money, all these things, right? You want to listen very carefully. It's a very, very, very important first step. Listen carefully to understand what it is they're saying, right? And sometimes they could just say, oh, you don't have money, and maybe like it's very short, like that, very short statement. What you want to do is to be able to dig deeper, to really understand, right? Is it really that they don't have money, like no money whatsoever, there's no place to get it from? Is it more of, oh, they feel like this money, like if they release it now, they won't get it back, like they're just like throwing away money, just giving max money, that kind of thing. So, or is it that they don't really see the value in the business, they don't quite believe that they can make it in the business, so it's not a worthy investment. There are different reasons why people say, oh, we don't have money. So you want to really not dig in a very because there's sometimes that you could say things, word it in a way that's very pushy, right? Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that kind of like aggressiveness. But yeah, you're really, be patient with them, like let them feel comfortable enough to say what they need to say, and really dig in, whatever it is. Oh, my spouse doesn't like this kind of business. Oh, I don't really have time. All these things, just listen, and then you can even throw it back to them. Okay, so if I understand you correctly, you mean you do not have the money right now to start? Is it that, oh, you don't have the money at all? Maybe are you thinking that this is not something that's going to pay you off? Sometimes you just have to give suggestions, and if you really listen, and this is best. We talk about conversations, right? All business is conversation, and we've talked about what makes the conversations that are more effective. We say in person, so face to face, and then the video calls like Zoom calls, FaceTime and all, then voice calls, like those are the most effective, right? So this is, if you're using these methods, it's going to help you to really have a like back and forth with your prospect. Doing this by text message is not very effective. Not very effective. You could try to dig now, ask a question, and then your prospect will just ghost you, like we just go down or get distracted by something else. You don't want that. You want to be able to get them in that face to face or voice to voice, where we talk back, you say back and forth thing, right? It's very unlikely that somebody is just going to end your video call or end your Zoom meeting or stuff when the person feels maybe upset or threatened or feels like you're crying too much. So it's a lot more effective that way, right? So listen, really listen. And then after you get as much of what they are saying with body language and all of that, then relate with them. Let them see that you're not an extra special person that, okay, network marketing is just designed for. And then that you like both of you kind of have that similarity. So for instance, somebody talks to me about not having time, right? When I started this, I was part-time with Max and working in a hospital. And yeah, being a doctor and all, crazy shifts. I know what it's like to not have time. So being able to translate that to, I totally understand, right? When I started this, and all. And this is where um, you can actually, in fact, let me just move on to step 3. So after relating, right, they you can tell a story. So either yours or somebody else's. So in this particular case, I can tell the story of how, okay, when I had a busy hospital routine, how I was just filling pockets of time here and there to be able to grow my business. Yes, I did not have all that time to spare. I still had to, I mean, outside of work hours, I still had to rest. I still had to run errands, go to things, market, church, all these kind of things, right? So yeah, make it very realistic. Oh, I don't have money. Okay, me too. I was really broke at the time. Like I did not have money. What I did, my own situation, I actually had to borrow, right? I knew that, okay, there was an opportunity here. I was going to give it a go. Yes, I did not have the funds to start, but yeah, I had to find a way. Borrowing is something I really hate to do, right? But I had to do this. I had to do it so that I could get started with the business, like do something different that was going to help me get out of that bad financial state. So saying things like this, right? It could be your story, it could be somebody else's story, right? It's not every single thing, every single objection they will have that, or that they have that you can relate with. There are certain things some people will say that I definitely cannot relate with. If it's when you're talking about, oh, maybe their family, their kids and stuff, right? I can't relate to that. I can only use somebody else's story. So yes, I mean, which is why it's really good to know other people's stories in Max, right? During meetings and all kinds of things, we always share stories. So, I mean, in on these things and be collecting stories because they will definitely help you and your prospects. So, the idea behind telling the story is so that, yeah, they can get to really appreciate how things are now for them. There's something in their lives like that can be better, right? If it's, I mean, building this business can help financial security, financial freedom. It can help like free up their time. I mean, by the time they're so financially sound, then maybe they don't have to put in so many hours into like a job or something else. So it kind of frees them up, helps them to be able to spend more time with their family. It will help them to maybe fund the kind of lifestyle they want, like travel, exposures. Oh, they'll be able to do fun things, just live in a way that they want. They will be able to be healthier, take care of themselves, all these kinds of things, right? So paint that picture for them of what their life could be. So what it is now, and Max as a vehicle, them growing this, them really committing to this and growing in the business, what it could yield for them. That is the idea of the whole story, right? So I mean, if somebody says no money, by the time I tell my story, how I was broke when I started is I definitely did not have money. How I borrowed, something I really hate to do. So I went out of my comfort zone and I did something unusual, but I kind of broke my own rule basically to make sure I started one way or the other. So I was that willing, I was that driven to be push. You know what they say, whenever there's a will, there's a way, right? So get that done. And yes, and now what on this as I began to grow the business, I was learning. I mean, sometimes the objection could be, oh, I don't really know how to talk to people, I don't know how to convince people, all those kind of things. So you relate. I mean, those are things that I am familiar with, not knowing how to talk to people. I'm an introvert, very reserved person, being used to talk to people. I've never done business. So all those things I can relate to. I just share my story and the fact that I've been patient with this. I've been able to learn skills, learn from the people in the company how to get this done, and all of that. So, yeah, that's basically it. So make sure you tell a good story, show them the now, what they really understand what their life is like now, right? The change they need to make so that they can get the future that it is that they want, and then yes, by the time you do this, then go to the fourth and final step, which is the if I would you. If I would you, that's always something way to implement. So, okay, so if I showed you, if it's money that's your objection, if I showed you how you could actually raise the money to be able to get started with this business, would you be willing to take a look, or would you want to get started with the business? Whatever it is. Okay, if I showed you how to still get to do your business activities, right? Even though you have a very tight schedule right now. If I showed you how you could make it work, like in your day, in your packed schedule, would you be willing to take a look? Right? So the idea is either for them to get started or for you to like move them to the next exposure. So find ways to implement it. Now, this is not something that you can have like an exact script. This is like a framework, right? But it's a conversation. So it should be natural. It should be as natural as possible. Yeah, you're really listening to the person. Like validate what it is they're saying. Don't be dismissive. They say you don't have money. Oh, what do you mean you don't have money? Is there nothing that you can sell? All those kind of things. No, don't be dismissive. Don't be rude. Don't be aggressive. Don't invalidate what it is they are saying. Let your prospect actually feel heard. Let them feel complimented. Let them feel like you understand them. Let them not feel like, oh, you're just wanting to make money off them, or you don't want to hear what they have to say. Your own is just okay for them to get recruited, yeah, for your own benefit. You're not really listening to what it is that their concern is. So it's very important. So listen, relate, tell a story, and then do the if I would you method. Okay. So yes, that is that. Now maybe just before I go on to even mention the challenge of the day, something we could do is you as a person, when you got started with Max, did you have any objections? Most of us had some kind of objection, right? Even if it was in our heads or we voiced it out or something. If you had an objection, right? If you had an objection when you started this, please just type out what that is in the comments. Whatever your objection was when you started this business, just type it out in the comments. Type it out in the comments. Now, our challenge, so as I'm waiting to see those answers, our challenge for this day 17 is basically continuing the challenge of day 16, right? Very few of us, in fact, I think only 2 of us at this point actually have done the assignment. So I'm going to read it out again. There are two challenges, or 2 assignments rather. The first is do a plan, do review of the last 16 days of this challenge, right? We've been talking about plan, do review from the first time. We said, okay, you have a plan, or talk to one market, or do direct approach, indirect approach, follow up on this person, do the closing 6 questions, whatever it is. Social media reach out, send messages, do voice messages, any activity basically, any of the income producing activities that you've done in this 90-day run, right? That was on a plan and you did, right? So the review, the idea is to review it. You want to know what worked or didn't work. Ideally, you do this after every day, right? So give a summary of what your plan to review has been like for these last 16 days and put it on the group. We want to see, guys, this is a very important step. Very, very important step. It's going to help tune your progress. Don't feel shamed if you feel like you're behind. See, none of us have done all this perfectly. You could be looking at me, you could be looking at Chris, you could be looking at Wapmaster thinking that, oh, they're so far ahead. We all have our issues, trust me, and we can only become better. We can only get better. So just do it afraid, do it messy, right? Do review assignments and put it on the group. Really important before our next live. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, yes, we talked about being brave and doing a TikTok video, right? I've shared mine, Wapmaster shared his too. So we're supposed to do at least 3 TikToks. That was 2-3 days ago, right? That was a challenge. At least one of those TikToks, post it on the group. This is going to be helpful because, yeah, we're going to learn from each other. You get ideas, you get creativity, you see, oh, okay, what can possibly be refined. It's really important that we do this, guys. So be brave. It doesn't have to be any excellent TikTok. My TikTok wasn't excellent. It was just something literally freestyle. I was walking on the streets close to my house and I just said a bunch of stuff, right? Did it messy. The point is that I did it. So try and get it done and post it on the group before tomorrow. Very, very important. Okay. So yeah, I'm still waiting for your objections, or am I to believe When we saw the max opportunity, as soon as we heard it, we grabbed it. We were like, yes, I'm doing this. Sign me up. Here's my money. Was that what actually happened, or did we have objections of one shape or form? I mean, hopefully we'll get to have like a good, really good session where, yeah, we can actually role play these things. Okay, so Dorian says my objection was whether it would really work. Wasted money in a tight budget. Okay, I understand. I understand. Right. So yeah, there's so many objections, really so many, guys. But we'll have a chance to really go more deeply into it